Hello and welcome to the first video of Dominion 201 in my video tutorial series for the card game Dominion. This is Adam Horton, and in this video is about forming your strategy. So before the first turn of a game of Dominion even begins, usually people will spend a minute or two looking over the kingdom and figuring out what the game's going to be like and how they're going to construct their deck. I want to start off by saying that there are no absolutes in forming your strategy. Every single kingdom card has a place where it shines, except for maybe one, but you know, there's an exception to every rule. There's no absolutes, remember? But anyway, similarly, there's also never a card that is a must-buy on every board. There's a counter to everything that's out there, and you just got to see if it's available. So just because you see a particular card on a board doesn't mean that the game will always revolve around that card. And noticing those particular games where that is not the case is an extremely valuable tool. Also, I should remind you that sometimes just playing big money isn't even a viable strategy. There are cards that will just lay waste to a big money deck, and you have to be aware of those. Another thing I want to talk about is the relative strength of cards in this same vein. So what does it mean, and how do I find out what's going on here? So each card has its place where it's pretty useful, and each card has its place where you don't want to buy it. For certain cards, buying it happens more often than not buying it, and for other cards, it's the other way around. Now, you could play a ton of games of Dominion and get slaughtered by people who have a good understanding of this, but there's a quicker way, luckily. Watching this video tutorial series is great, but I also don't want to go over every single kingdom card to give you an idea of its relative strength. So in the description for this video and pretty much all of the videos in the 200 series, I'm going to provide several links, and I want to talk about what those are now. The first is the card list. It's just a link to a page where it has the name, cost, and information, and the text on every card in the game. That's going to be really useful because I'm going to talk about particular cards, and I'm not going to tell you what they are. So that's a great place to look and see what they are. Also, it's a good idea if you are new to the game and you haven't done this before to just read through every card that exists. I highly recommend doing that, and maybe one day you'll play hundreds of games and you'll have them all memorized and that won't be an issue, but it's a really good idea to know what's out there and just know what the things are that cards are capable of doing. The second link is card ranking by cost. So Quist, one of the members of the forums, has been doing this for over a year now in multiple iterations, ranking the cards by popular input according to power and also divided by their cost. So he has a list of all of the $3 cards, and they're ranked from least powerful to most powerful, and for all of the costs. This is extremely helpful for gauging the relative power level of cards. Now, it's not a silver bullet, but it's a great starting point. Card article list. This is a list to all of the cards that have articles written on them. If you feel like you're weak with a card or you don't understand all the places that it can be used or what it's good for, well, if there's an article written on it, they will tell you everything you could want to know about that card. It's a great resource. And similarly, there's a combo article list, which will do the same thing for groupings of 2 cards and sometimes 3 cards. Groupings of more cards are just so unlikely to show up together that usually they don't write articles on them. And then there's also a list of big money enablers, and that's going to be important for one step of assessing a kingdom. But it's a good idea to know which cards are really good for big money and which are a lot better for big money than some other cards. So, what's out there? Well, I have a methodical way of determining what that is, and I think it's good. And so the focus of the 200 level Dominion videos is going to revolve around this methodical approach and just seeing what's there and why it matters. And And so this is an outline for it, and there are going to be many videos and a lot of talking about each of these points. The first thing I look for are attack cards and defense to them. The second thing is the availability of trashing, what kind of trashing, how strong, and other ways you can or cannot control the size of your deck. After this, I look for particular card combos that jump out at me that may be dominant on the board. And then after that, I look for the presence of villages, draw, and the ability to have extra buys. Based on these factors, I try and discern whether or not it's going to be possible to make an environment where an engine will be successful. So after the first 4 points here, I've decided if an engine is available and how good it's going to be. The next thing I look for is big money enablers. So that list of big money enablers is going to help. How strong is a big money strategy going to be? And that will allow me to compare the engine that I've decided is or is not available to something that an opponent will have available to them. And if I feel like the big money strategy is stronger, well, I might do that. The last thing is path to victory. So given all of this, it's really easy to construct a deck that plays a ton of actions per turn, and then, well, what do you do? So maybe you can generate $8 for 1 turn, and that's about it. It's a good idea to think about, okay, you need to score points. You need to have some way to win. So that has to be done, that has to be in mind when you're thinking about building an engine or doing whatever you're doing. It's important that you're able to score points or find some way to win. And the presence of alternative victory points is also another factor that will weigh into this. You need to decide if your deck is going to go for provinces or some other way of scoring points. My attitude is try to find the engine, and usually if the engine is available, it's going to be strong enough. And you really should try and go for engines and push yourself towards that, because that gives you a lot more control over what's happening in the game. So, in the next few videos, we're going to dive deeper into each of these topics, and I hope you'll join me. Thanks for watching.